I could write a book about every transfer here. Well, Sol Campbell was unbelievable, you know, he moved from Tottenham to Arsenal.
I just think they were trusted lions, really. Back then, it was probably a little bit easier to kind of be a bit more covert.
I remember looking at David Dein, and he had such a massive smile on his face that he managed to pull the wool over the journalists' eyes.
There were literally gasps. The media were so surprised that it was Sol Campbell. They were all still working on the assumption that it would be Richard Wright walking into that room.
This is a transfer we made with David Dein at his house, and sometimes we had meetings at 11 o'clock at night to make sure that nobody can see us. And so that is an unbelievable story.
David Dein called and said, look, we need to probably make an announcement on a new player tomorrow. Didn't mention the name Richard Wright, so I was kind of half assuming that we were talking about Richard Wright.
I used to notify all the newspaper photographers when we were signing a player, and I remember getting a call in the morning to say there's a player signing at London Colney that afternoon. So as I was driving, I called all the newspaper guys up and said, we've got a signing coming. Do you want to come up and shoot some pictures? And they all said, no, it's only Richard Wright. We don't really need him. It's not a big signing.
I thought I'd just check in with David Dein before I made the final drive up to Colney. Called him and just said, look, obviously we've got these press releases ready for Richard Wright. Shall I print them off and bring them up? And he said, listen, just don't print anything off. He said, look, just drive up to Colney. We'll talk tactics there, but I'll be in Arsene's office.
We walked together sometimes at 1 o'clock in the morning to talk about what, because he was paranoid that he was discovered.
I just think they were trusted lions, really. Back then, it was probably a little bit easier to kind of be a bit more covert. One of the reasons why, because it wasn't really done until late on.
So I went straight to Arsene Wenger's office. I knocked on the door. I heard Arsene Wenger's voice, come in. I opened the door. I'll never forget this moment. David Dein very calmly walked over to me and said, let me introduce you. Firstly, he turned to the player's agent. He said, this is Sky Andrew. And then calmly, David Dein just turned to Sol Campbell and said, and this is Sol Campbell. That was quickly followed by Arsene, who was sitting behind his desk in his office, smiling, who said to me, I think you're going to be busy today. I was just standing there, slowly digesting it all, with Sol Campbell standing there in a suit. I'll never forget the first words I said to Sol. I turned to Sol Campbell and said, I thought you were going to be Richard Wright. To which he said to me, sorry mate, I can't play in goal.
We walked from Arsene's office to the press conference room. We walked through the back of the press conference and straight out into where the desk is. And there was hardly anyone there, maybe 10 journalists, I think, and a couple of TV cameras. And I was last out, but I'd sort of managed to peek round the corner, and they were all sort of slouched in their seats. And as soon as they saw Sol, they all jumped up and they were reaching for their phones.
There were literally gasps. Honestly, there were gasps that it was Sol Campbell. The media were surprised, so surprised that it was Sol Campbell. They were all still working on the assumption that it would be Richard Wright walking into that room.
I'm ambitious. I want to play football. I dream about playing at the top level. So, and this is why I'm here.
Well, after having chatted with him, I felt that he's a very ambitious guy who wants to improve and to play at the top level. That convinced me as well that he's the right player for us.
I spent a lot of years at Tottenham. No one can doubt that. But while I was there, I played my heart out. Trained well, done everything to my best of my ability to move the team in the right direction. But the time comes when you have to reconsider. I've done everything right. My contract's run out now. I'm a free agent. I decided I wanted to come to Arsenal. There wasn't a lot of people there, no. There wasn't a lot of journalists, no. I think there's about 6 or 7 journos. There wasn't anyone there.
I remember looking at David Dein, and he had such a massive smile on his face that he managed to pull the wool over the journalists' eyes.
Just relaxed. Obviously, mobile phones started going and it was too late for anyone else to get over. It's too far. It was done in an hour. I made my decision now, and I'm happy. And I just hope everyone respects that decision.
I would say that is probably the biggest moment of a signing. probably in Premier League history. I can't think of one that has surprised so many people.
A lot of factors I had to go through. That was one of the reasons why it took so long. But in the end, it was overwhelming for Arsenal.
I don't remember a transfer like it before, and I don't remember anything like it afterwards. And it was a great day, and I don't think we'll ever get replicated again.